Sketchbooks. Everyone wants to have one, no one wants to keep one. You probably think you can't keep a sketchbook without knowing how to draw. Today I will show you why that's not true. Now pay attention, because during this video you will finally find the tips and exercises that you need to fill in that sketchbook. Arguably, we have two kinds of people watching this video with us today. We have person A, the hidden artist that would like to draw but doesn't have any interest in learning art techniques, would like to be able to make art regardless but is afraid to make art in fear of how it looks. Then we have person B, a person that would like to draw, has interest in learning about art techniques but is scared to make art in fear of how it looks. And then we also have person C, which is similar to person A, with the difference that they would like to draw, don't have any interest in learning about art techniques, would like to be able to make art regardless, but they are open to the possibility that this can lead them to developing an interest in learning art techniques in the future. Let me know in the comments which one of these you think you are. No reason to make art should ever be considered invalid. Just the reason that you want to pick up a pencil and start already makes you an artist. Your willingness to explore your creativity and imagination in this little realm that we call the sketchbook should be enough to call you an artist. You don't need fancy artist sketchbooks or fancy artist tool to be an artist. Neither do you need special supplies. While I do love many mediums, most of my art is made either by coloring pencils or a plain old mechanical pencil. Tell me one good reason that you can't make art even though you want to. Did Pablo Picasso come to you in your dreams and say that you can't make art if you have not learned the fundamentals? If you actually sit and think about it, there is no reason, no tangible reason that would make any sense. Maybe you would say perfectionism, and your ability to draw is stopping you. Maybe the fear of the white page, or what others will think about your quote-unquote bad art. Sometimes I feel that it helps me when I call my sketchbook a rough book, because it's almost like it has the connotation that anything that I put in it will be rough, and if it's something more than that, that's fine. But the first implication is that whatever I put into my rough book is something that is rough. It can be a scribble, it can be me trying out different mediums, it can be anything. Why should not knowing how to draw professionally be a stopping point to someone that wants to own and use a sketchbook and explore their life and passions through different mediums? And you may say, it will look bad. Objectively, what is bad art? First you have to decide what your goal is, like we said in the beginning. What person are you? Are you person A, person B, or person C? Whichever person you are, you have to understand that you will always be subjected to having to make bad art. Even when you are learning art techniques, you will first have to do them badly to be able to eventually do them well. The more times you draw something, the more of a possibility you have to making it look like you want it to look. Once heard someone say that you need to first poop out the bad drawings to get to the good ones, and that is such a good rule, because eventually one of these poopy drawings will become a good drawing, or at least a drawing that you are satisfied is going in the right direction, which is vital to see in your sketchbook, because this motivates you in turn, you yourself, that you can make a lot of art and that you are dedicated to making art even if it doesn't look good. Knowing how to draw is not like a tangible thing. Like, you can still sketch and draw without knowing everything that needs to be known to be able to make like scenes and characters and things look realistic or even stylized. Like, that is a huge process. And even people that do go on that journey still have bad art days. All professional artists have this. You know, they all have this. I have this. It doesn't go away. You thinking that your art is bad will not go away, no matter how professional you are, no matter how many things you know or have learned. Like, you don't need to know perfect perspective to be able to sketch something in your sketchbook if you want to. Not knowing how to do color doesn't mean that you shouldn't have some fun with your markers and exploring your sketchbook. Not knowing how to use watercolor doesn't mean that you can't get out a watercolor set and paint a scene that you want to paint. Like, you don't have to make everything a perfect example of learning to be able to enjoy yourself. Sometimes maybe you want to do art for a hobby. Maybe you are not interested in learning art professionally, and knowing the fundamentals and learning them will help you to draw better and properly and like more accurately in the future. But until you get to that point, and even if you never want to get to that point, using a piece of paper with a pencil is such a basic need, for me at least, that I think anyone should be doing it, because it just gives like a clarity to the mind that you can't achieve, at least I can't achieve just by writing. I do everything in my sketchbook, not just drawing. Like I draw, but I draw like many things, not just for art itself. I also draw like my thoughts, my routine, the storyboard I did for this video, I did it in my sketchbook. Like I use it for everything. You need to give yourself the ability to make bad art, quote unquote, to be able to get to where you want to be. If your goal is to just explore your life through your sketchbook, for example, you can draw something from your daily life in your sketchbook every day. And if you are a person A that doesn't want to learn like art techniques and is not interested in learning the fundamentals of art, you can just draw one of these things every day to be able to kickstart this habit. And if you are like person B that is interested in making art professionally and learning more art techniques, you can also do the same exercise of drawing your things, but have it be a base for learning the art techniques like the fundamentals, which are forms, light, perspective, anatomy, and color. And we'll be tackling all of these in the upcoming videos on my channel, so don't worry. For example, if you would be interested in the art fundamentals, you would pick learning about form and you would get one thing from your desk and draw it. For me, that's my Bulbasaur Funko Pop. I drew him here digitally to show you this example of how you can break something into simple shapes. This is basically what we will be learning in the next weeks. I know this may be hard to wrap your head around if this is the first time that you are hearing this. Now, let's let go of the misconception that you will be able to draw perfectly one day. You won't. Trash that idea. Throw it in the can. Every new subject is a challenge of its own. And while you may have the tool set, aka the art fundamentals, to learn that subject, learning to draw something requires exploring. We had a prompt in my Discord server that I have for this channel. If you want to join, there's a link in the description. I didn't know how to draw owls, so I spent 2 days looking at the anatomy, their bones, their general shapes. And this was my first sketch. Does this look like a real owl to you? No. Several days later. But this one does, and as I started getting the hang of its shapes and anatomy, it became an owl eventually. An owl that I liked. Then I could move on to thumbnailing a little illustration I want to do to complete this prompt. I ended up liking most the one that I liked the least the sketch of, go figure. But anywho, I figured out how to draw owls by exploring the subject. I figured out that owls are basically potato wedges. They are basically a 3D potato wedge with a dollop of mayonnaise on top. Basically a wedge with a little dome and triangles for the wings. When I figured this out, everything became much easier because the goal is to explore techniques that will help you draw your subject better. But most people don't realize that even for stylized art, you need to study your subject, whether that's studying the art fundamentals or whether it's studying that style itself. You can also see these 2 huge A4 pages where I just went all in, explored owls in all their shapes and sizes. I tried them flying, I tried them sitting, I explored the eyes, their wings, their shapes. I wanted to do an owl with like Slavic influences because I am Slavic, I am Polish, I was born in Poland but I grew up in Manchester. But yeah, I just really wanted to include that. I really like how the snowy barn owl contrasts with the red Slavic cape that I put on it, and you can see here that it took 2 A4 pages for me to get to the stylized little snowy barn owl that you see here. So it just takes patience and fun and exploring. Right now my new hyperfixation is cowboys and horses. I have been obsessed with Red Dead Redemption 2, my best friend got it for my birthday, and I am literally in love. I cannot stop drawing them. The point is, I wanted to start drawing horses so that I can represent my in-game horse Fern, lovingly named Fernie. Now, this was my first sketch. Does this look like a horse to you? No, clearly not. Why should that stop me from drawing though? Why should this horse not looking like a horse stop me from drawing and not encourage me to continue exploring my subject? I had just started sketching them yesterday, and while I figured out the basic shapes, this is still hardly a horse. It will be though. In 6 or 7 days perhaps it will look even more horsey, and even the next day you can see all of these sketches that I did end up liking quite a lot, to be honest. It never gets less frustrating, but it does get more fun when you treat this as a game. This is where I started, and as you see me going down the page you can basically tell that the horse is becoming more of a horse. I especially like this one is my favorite. It really does look like my in-game horse fern. I really like the expression, the shapes, it just looks really nice. I also really like this sketch. It reminds me of draft horses. Those are horses that basically are more stocky, they pull carts in the game. And I do lean to stylizing a lot more than drawing realistic things, so I will be exploring that more. So you can clearly see that I filled about half an A4 page here trying to get the idea of how I can draw horses better. I looked up some tutorials on Pinterest and I found a few techniques that I tried out. One of the techniques was using like an elongated pyramid that I didn't really like. It didn't really help me it did help me with understanding the subject, but it wasn't my preferred method of drawing them. And then I found a method that just basically uses 2 3D circles, one big one for the head and one smaller one for the snout. I really preferred that one because, I don't know, it just felt more natural, just the curves and just, yeah, I really preferred that one. So definitely look for tutorials, see how you can improve, see which one works for you, don't just stick to one tutorial. Tutorials are such a nice way to be able to have a consistency to making art, and they can also help you evolve and help you understand what you really want to do, because how else will you know if you don't try many things? And this is where today's video sponsor Skillshare comes in. As you probably already know, Skillshare is an online learning community that has the largest range of classes led by industry experts, ranging from productivity, illustration, design, freelance, video editing, basically anything you can dream up, they can help you learn it, helping you to level up your skills, hobbies and passions and take them to the next level. With the fall season upon us and the weather growing cooler, I have been getting cozy at my desk and looking forward to learning new things with a hot cup of cocoa. And if you have trouble like me with focusing, Skillshare helps you learn by doing, where you can create and share projects by completing a class. I've been following Mike Lowery's Always Drawing, How to Start and Keep a Sketchbook, which not only helps with generating ideas, but how to keep them coming to build a consistent art practice while drawing things from a day-to-day life. Mike helps you explore topics like, what should you draw on your first page? Why should you even keep a sketchbook? Personally, I like to feel a sense of continuity with my learning, and that's where Skillshare shines for me. I've been finding so much value in this learning path, creative productivity, kickstart and sustain any project. With the back-to-school season already back in full swing, I cannot think of a better time to learn something new. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so get started today. Another vital thing to mention is that you can have multiple styles. The style that I use for my professional job as a concept artist for games is mostly digital art. It doesn't really have much to do with the stuff that I do in my sketchbook, because my sketchbook is like fully personal to me. No one tells me what to draw there apart from myself, so it's different to what I do for my job. And there is also the case of what I do in my personal journal, which is probably like the most different from all of the art that I do, because all of it is in pen. It's basically small doodles that are not really based around the fundamentals. It's just me doodling anything that happened during my day or that I want to like note down, because it helps me visualize it better. So I clearly have 3 different styles, and I totally encourage people to have that, because you don't have to do like totally finished illustrations in your journal. If your journal is just about like journaling your day, you're not gonna sit there for like an hour trying to do a finished like little illustration. If you are interested in starting your sketchbook, you can always go to my Gumroad or my Coffee. I provide free exercises and tips and tricks that you can try to start your sketchbook. These are exercises and a homework specific to this video, or many of my videos come with these kinds of homeworks to help people draw and to inspire them and give them prompts on what they can do to improve their art. This video's homework is to do a 4-week streak in your sketchbook. This can range from doing a sketchbook page a day based on the prompt in the homework file that you can download for free, or you can do a page every day. The sketchbook can be any size. It can be a small pocket size, it can be an A4, even though I assume that would be more intimidating for someone that would want to do this every day. But the most basic homework that you can do is 1 sketch page a week. This can be a small one or a big one, as we said, based on the prompts that you can see in this homework file. The prompts are supposed to be fun, You are supposed to get creative, explore. There are not that many requirements. The only requirement is to follow the prompt in the homework. If you do want to earn the badges that come with completing these homeworks, you get the badges for free by doing the homework and joining my Discord channel. When you post the finished homework in the finished homework channel, that's when you are eligible to get your badge, and that's basically how you move up in the kind of status idea of the server. The more homework you do, the more badges you get. If you are interested in that, take a look, and if you're not, no worries, you can also do this on your own. You don't have to post anything if you don't want the badges, but this is the main idea. If you are new here, hello, my name is Pat. I am the owner of Catberry Studio, a 100k Instagram account that I made 1.5 years ago. And it's basically where I sketch and post all my work. Recently I haven't been posting, but I will be coming back to it soon. I have recently started this YouTube channel, so if you want to support in any way, subscribe, leave a comment, join the Discord server, anything helps. Thank you so much for tuning in to the end if you have reached this point, and hope you have a lovely week, and don't forget to do your homework.